Well, good morning, welcome. The way this came about is Gautam actually got a Facebook lead on a property that is in Warren Park, which is an area south of Mississauga and an area where I live, and I do a fair bit of business there. So he contacted me and said, look, can you help with this? I said, absolutely. So it was a property that had expired, so it had already been exposed to the marketplace. I personally know the agents who had it. They're very good agents, just didn't sell. So I said, fine, you do your evaluation, I'll do my evaluation, and we'll compare. And I said, but you're going to be in charge of doing the presentation. I will be there as well, because I'm going to just talk about our knowledge of the neighborhood, things like that, but you need to do your presentation to them when it comes to who you are, who we are, those kind of things, looking at what's really going on in the marketplace. So I always do two-step. I try to always do a two-step listing presentation. Because I want to be able to build some rapport with the people. So when we went in, we had first time nothing with us, except you had one of your handouts, right?
That's all.
And all through it, we were there about 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Custom built house, by the way. So we were there about 45 minutes, more than 3 or 4 times. Well, what do you guys think? What's it worth? What's it worth? And it was quite simple. We appreciate that, and we're going to get to that, but not at this particular time. I said, wouldn't do you justice if we just came in from the seat of our pants and just said, oh yeah, this is what it's worth. That is not giving you the knowledge you need as a consumer on what's going on in the marketplace. So the way we do it is we go through first, we go find out about the highlights of your property, what things that you like about it, and what things you feel a consumer would like about it. So we had a very nice conversation, went through, and just said, okay, we're gonna spend a couple days. And they said, oh, we're not in a hurry, so it doesn't have to be right away. And we said, that's fine. So we just sort of waited a little bit, and Gautam calls me, he says, okay, they want to get together and know what the heck's going on in the market, what's going on in the price. They said, okay, so there's some change happening. So we did, we went back, we went through a trial run presentation here, because never practice in front of the consumer, right? Always go through your presentations with somebody or yourself in front of a mirror before you go do them, okay? And we did, we went through it, and because of that, we tweaked some stuff.
That's right.
Okay? And so once we were there and went through this presentation, I immediately asked Gautam, I said, that was very professional. We did a great job. The consumers actually thanked us for being straight up forward with them, not trying to come in and go, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna sell your house this way, this is all we're gonna do, no problem. Because they said, we've had it like that before, and we know that just doesn't work. So thank you for being very professional. We're not doing anything right now, but definitely we'll get back to you. They will eventually sell this place, possibly September, or it might not be till next spring, but they're gonna move. And because of doing the research and the proper presentation, that's why they liked us and trusted us. We built the rapport on the first visit and continued with that by showing our experience and letting them understand what's going on in the marketplace. So when we finished that, we were outside, I asked Gautam, I said, would you be prepared to show this to the office? Because one, he's using a brand new tool from Realty Executives, which was the customizable listing presentation. And he did a live drive in front of them, CMA on Realm, which we all know is happening within the end of this month. Okay? So you're going to see the presentation that he did in front of these clients that were very impressed and you're going to see why. So thank you, my friend, for doing it.
Thank you. Our company's history is all in the presentation. I didn't have to customize anything here. It talks about when Realty Executives was found, how many agents we have, how many offices, to give client perspective about our company, right? The history, which is kind of nice to tell the client. But this is all built in, like there's nothing done on this slide kind of thing. Same thing, this all our office locations, it shows a map, it tells you how many years experience we have, how many offices we have, how many executives we have. So basically showing that perspective to the client kind of really helps building that reputation. And then I added my highlights. I mean, when I got licensed, I'm a accredited realtor. We put in we're a member of, Toronto Real Estate Board, Canadian Real Estate Association. We co-licensed realtor. I put in my award, which we got this year, to be honest. So I added that in there. But anything about yourself, right? You can put in there, and because this is about you, showing it to them, like what you can do for them, your information. So that's what I did there. Then I added the team, basically, because it's just not me, right? So we have to show, okay, Scott's part of my team, Michelle's part of my team, so I kind of share that information. Angie's part of our team. She kind of does a lot of behind work, for us. She's with my mentor. I did some training with Tatiana. She's an agent from Montreal. She's kind of making like $1 million a year on real estate. So she's very good in, you can see, social media, TikTok. She's got millions of followers and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of opened up my, coming out of that, just being a secret agent and just presenting myself out in the media. So that's what I try to do, stay consistent at it, putting your, things out. Because what I realized was, me being secretive, I'm losing even my clients who purchase properties through me, because they don't know anymore that I'm still in business or not, right? So now what I see is they're at least seeing my videos, seeing my information out online, Facebook, TikTok, is presenting to them. Whether they like it or not, I don't care, but at least they're seeing my face out there. They know I'm active there. And due to that, I'm getting a lot of calls from people. I got a call last week from past clients. She's like, can you show this house to my friend? You know what I mean? And I'm like, sure, why not? You know what I mean? So it's kind of putting my name out there, giving me the right exposure. That's what is kind of helping me from that social media. And then I had some other listings that I got from online as well. I got this year beginning, I kind of had somebody buy a property through me. Another one, I had a referral which I referred to Mississauga Beach. I mean, that property got sold, so it's kind of working through in a better way for me. So more we can put our name out there is the best thing to do, definitely. Like Scott corrected me, I should be carrying Realty Executives folder, and I do it now everywhere because it does help putting ourselves out everywhere. That we are not a secret agent anymore. Anywhere, carry my business cards all the time. Anybody, I was showing the house to that lady on the weekend, last weekend, apartment buildings right here on Takana Court. And another lady, she's like, oh, is there a condo on this floor for sale? I'm like, yes, there is. I said, are you looking to buy? She's like, not right now. I said, here's my card. You know what I mean? So at least putting our name out there, I said, anytime you need help, you can call me. Like, more we do that, I think eventually the things we see the results. Oliver is my Facebook marketing consultant. I do a lot of Facebook ads through him, which is kind of gives me my exposure out there. It's kind of a program unique that I have with him is anybody clicks on my ad, there's a full-time assistant he's got, they call the client to make sure, to get the information about the property and all. It's all about home evaluation. And then second call is made by me after because they want to talk to an agent, and then I call them, book my appointment, go do listing presentation and things like that. That's where I kind of get a lot of business. Like not everybody gets ready to sell right then, but I add them to my CRM system. I kind of do the regular follow-up. If this is all, call me in 6 months, and that's what we do, to be honest. So I'm showing a team here. Success stories, so I put my testimonials in there, right? Anything you can, show that your past clients given the feedback. So I kind of added that in there myself. long story, which is a good one on buyers. These are all built already. I didn't have to do anything. Everything is kind of as is in the presentation on some of the slides. Like this one is all there information. So then asking the questions, which is kind of a perfect way, right? Like, what do you love about your home? Why do you decide to move? Like answering all those. Like, we did a lot of that already with me and Scott visiting through the house, asking them, right, what was their motivation? When did they do all this renovations in the house? Because they rebuilt it, right? Tore it down to the basement and then rebuilt everything. But we asked a lot of these questions already, but these are all built in our presentation. I didn't change any of these questions. These are all in there. If you could change something about your home, what would that be? Is there a date you would like to move by? Because that tells us the motivation, right? Like, are they ready to sell today, or are they going to be ready to sell in the future? Have they done any upgrades? Like, then they, tell us about that. Is there anything that you think a buyer may dislike? Which we had in this property was it was a single garage, right? So we talked about that too. Basement was kind of a little bit smaller in size because they didn't expand the basement, but the upstairs were expanded and rebuilt to a bigger size home, right? So those things are all kind of built in the presentation for us to kind of know. Again, then this is also part of the presentation, a part of the marketing. What are their priorities, right? Like, low, medium, high, you can like take this checkbox, checklist with you and basically just stick things through, right? What are they looking for? If time on the market is kind of really high, important to them, right? So target marketing and advertising, how much they want us to advertise that property, right? Because we have to spend some money on marketing. Staging, is it important to them or not, right? Communications, because I think that's what is another piece that I think when you're getting a listing, it's just not we get a listing, put it on MLS and our job is done. I think communication all the way through past that is kind of really will make us successful in the sale and getting more referrals. A lot of agents get the listing, but then they don't communicate, and then people just get fed up and they're like, they want to change the agent. Then you see a lot of that happen, that I see in the market happen. But it's just due to lack of communication. If you don't communicate enough, and I'm kind of building my strategy around communication and saying, how often should I communicate? At least maybe once a week, we should communicate phone by phone. But there should be email going every week to them as well as to what we are doing during that week. I think that's very important. And we have stats on how many people viewed our property on realtor.ca. Maybe there's a report we can pull from there. There's a report we can pull from our virtual tour, how many people looked at that. If we did the Facebook ad or TikTok ad or whatever, then we can see how many people viewed our property there. So we should share those insights to them and say, well, this is how we are giving exposure to your property. So it's really the key piece. But this is a very good open house. Some people do like open houses, some don't. So it would be good to know that ahead of time. Some people just say, well, no, I don't want neighbors popping into my property. It's a different perspective people have, right? So again, it gives us the points that we can talk through. This slide I had to modify a little bit, some questions there, like how the home showing happens, because this slide is built more around COVID, so COVID's kind of gone, so I had to kind of modify some things, like all done through our office, no more two visitors we allow inside, all potential buyers to be accompanied by a real estate licensed professional. Viewing time restrictions we can put in place in our broker day. We don't want that people coming in during their dinner times or whatever the case may be. There's minimum notice we can put on, like people doesn't call and book like I'm going there now. Feedback again is important to them, which we get from the agents. I think broker bay does send those emails out, but I don't think the agents are providing the feedback. So basically, my listing in Brampton, which got sold last night, I was following up constantly with every agent, getting the feedback, right? I think calling each other, it kind of helps. We're all in the same business doing the same thing. Why not pick up a phone and have communication and say, what do you think about this property, right? You know what I mean? Those broker day emails are very standard. I don't think everybody answers those emails. I get flooded with those emails too. So nobody answers those, right? Providing feedback. But any agent calling me for a feedback on a showing that I did, I do call them back and give them a feedback, which I think we all should do to each other, and that helps us, building ourselves. And then strategy we talked about the right price, marketing plan, and getting the property sold. This is all kind of built. I have added, probably logo was already there, or I might have added it. These stats are already built in as well, which is kind of neat, because this is a Canadian presentation. Because usually I saw previously Realty Executives presentations were more geared toward the US, but this is Canadian version, so it's got Canadian stats all built in here. This is kind of nice to show them where do we get home buyers, right, online. Preparation, again, this is all built in, like curb appeal and things like that. So this is all recognized in this slide. Presenting to home buyers, same thing. Is staging a good option? That's something you can open up and talk about on this slide. So here is the market snapshot. So this one I have kind of updated. You can update to latest numbers, like what's happening with the market, right? So we could talk about, like, this is what we presented. This is the latest update we have from June. Sales decreased, new listings are up. Telling the client already, giving them a market snapshot, right? So that tells them that we are knowledgeable about the market in our area, right? Basically. So even Scott kind of has, added few words here as well, so which kind of gave them the contacts, so they can expect 3.5 million for that home, right? So that was the idea we were trying to pitch in, but we did it through the market update and saying this is what's happening in the market. This is all standard style built in, like what happens if we price it above, or if we do it fair, what do we get, and if we do below, what do we get? So that's what we kind of talk about, that pricing strategies there. Marketing, so this is the shot I put in from my website. I put in my website there as well, just to kind of show, so updated those pictures, rest was all there, like how we're going to market the property, right? We have to show them that how we're going to get the exposure to the property. Social media package, so we had to update this slide a little bit. Where we are available, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And then I put in some of the snapshots from my ads that I did, right? From Facebook ad, for example. This ad I did on the property, like 13,000 impressions. So I'm showing them how the advertising works on social media, right? So on TikTok, some got 11,000 views, and then this video I put in, they got 600 views. So I'm basically trying to show them the ad stats which are available to us when we do a Facebook ad, or these insights are available. You can take a screenshot that tells them that we are doing just not the flyer marketing, we are doing an online marketing as well.
These are the sponsored ad or?
This one is, first one is sponsored, this one is not, this one is not. So, this is from TikTok. So TikTok is very good in exposing us more if we do the right content, right? So you get a lot of, I don't know, this video I put in, had some good information in it, and it got 11,000 views, right? So it's just, and that's where I kind of encourage each other, all of us. Maybe if we see each other's ad or anything like that, like it, put a comment on. I think it helps with the algorithm with the ads, and that helps big time. That's what I learned from a mentor. We are part of a group. We like each other's posts. We put comment on, like amazing property. You know what I mean? And that tells Instagram or TikTok, that okay, there are people liking this post. Then they expose it even more. That helps with kind of organic marketing, right? I'm not talking about ads or anything. I'm talking about even general posts we're putting in. Like each other's ads, click on it, put a comment on. Doesn't harm anybody. You know what I mean? We are all here to help each other, right? And then I talked about print ads as well. I had all these things with me, and like seller's guide I have printed. I have it in my bag, even I can show you guys. Buyer's guide I have it printed. These things I got it printed online, like from Etsy. Kind of took some templates. I'll show you the books I have. I took picture of my flyer, I added in here. So basically I'm showing is I'm not doing only online advertising, I have print ads available as well as part of my marketing. Right? So I'm introducing, I'm showing them my physical printout of these things, right? I had my flyer with me, so I have it right now in my bag too. Just to show them that those things also are part of my marketing plan. It's just not only online, social media. Social media, yes, is the way to go, but I'm showing them that I'm doing these things too. I have a book that I kind of gave them a copy on, the flyer and everything else. I just put those things in there. I showed them my CRM system. This is a screenshot of my CRM system from Agent Locator that I use. You know, when people use Follow Boss here, I think. But it's just, I put that in there. I showed them how I stay in touch with people who kind of connect through the ads and all that, basically giving them that, you know, exposure that I have client management system in place, right? It's just not like, you know, I'm just tracking all these manually. It shows our professionalism and we treat it like a business. That's how they look at it. And then I talked about my investment portfolio, something for myself. I thought it would be good to kind of introduce that, because I'm a real estate agent, I invest my money into real estate, right? So I own my properties, I kind of talk about that a little bit, which gives me an exposure in a way if somebody's interested in passive investing, right? And then I have some properties I own in North Bay, Ontario, and that's where I've got a property manager there, everything, and I have some buyer clients that I've took and they purchase homes there. So they're kind of, it's a low price point you can get, and you can get multiplexes there, right? Like this third property on the right is like a triplex, right? Positive cash flow. These two are in Toronto, this is Blvd. This is in North Bay. And then I have some other properties. These are also all in North Bay. There's 6 plex, because it's 3 and 3 units. This is a 5 plex that I purchased last year. But these are owned by me, but I have clients who kind of go there and buy properties too, right? I had my accountant actually, he purchased 4 triplexes there as well. And this year I had a client that I got from Facebook advertising. She purchased a home as well, duplex home there. Because price point is low, she purchased for $325,000 duplex, fully rented, positive cash flow, everything. So I just give that exposure to the client basically, right? But if you're interested in this kind of things, I have that in my part. And pretty much, thank you. That's the end of the presentation. Any questions, comments?
He comes in not only with social media stuff, he shows them buyer guides, he goes through the secrets of selling, that kind of stuff. He shows them, this is the kind of money I'm going to spend, because all top agents, I don't care where you are, Brampton, Mississauga, Oakville, I get this kind of stuff in my flyer, in my door, on my mail, weekly. And it's always from the top agents. So, if you're going to be presenting, and you've got to do what you say though. Don't show somebody this if you're not going to spend the money to put the flyers in.
Like feature sheet, right? Like leaving it at the property. So I had that too, and print out showing them that I do that too, right? Because they mentioned that our previous agent had very good feature sheet. They said that to us, right? So it's something they're looking forward to it, right? So I'm saying, yeah, we have that available too with us. But they were just like, well, we're disappointed because our home didn't sell, which is a different story, and a book that I
So how, explain the book.
I mean, I went online. This is an American company. There's a, you know, and you can get a book, like even on Etsy, there a lot of people do that. You can, you know, customize it and all that, and you can get it printed from a local printer, and you hand it over. I mean, shows you a professional kind of thing, right? So this is like selling secrets. I usually take it to all my listing presentations and hand them my book. So that gives a first impression to them that I'm invested in this business, right? I'm not here just to get that one listing. I'm here, like, I'm leaving this with you as a value. So they remember me from the book. Online, I mean, Etsy, I think it's the website.
On Etsy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things, and they're very reasonable price on Etsy. A lot of things available, even these guides on Etsy.
Oh,
Very
there's on Etsy too?
Yeah, very professional. Like they have all the steps. You just they're all in Canva templates, right? You put in your information, update, you send you a printer, and just you can have it beautifully
Can
drawn.
I ask you, what, like, the price of those? Like,
These guides?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can look it up and tell you.
and the book as well?
Yeah, books too, I will tell you how much it
Yeah,
is.
because you probably get like a box of books, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a soft copy built in now, so I can print anytime I need. I can
Yeah.
just send it to a local printer.
Okay, so far, you've got people that were disappointed the house didn't sell. You've got people that hand-built this house themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? First walkthrough, I noticed a bunch of stuff that they should have done. He noticed a bunch of stuff that they should have done. And you,
Like,
well, they took an old bungalow,
yeah.
didn't raise the basement,
Basement, yeah. Ceiling height is low in the basement.
didn't expand the basement, yet they pushed the back of the house out
Yeah.
onto a slab instead of putting a full
down.
basement in.
Yeah.
They kept a single car garage instead of redesigning it to have a two-car garage.
Yeah.
They have a mudroom off the back of the garage into what seems to be a breakfast area.
Yeah.
Not quite sure, but family room, little family room off. So it's not a, how I would say, a proper mudroom.
Yeah.
They decided that the way to build this house is that they turned it into a 1.5 story instead of a full 2-story, because they were dealing with the planners themselves. They had an architect. The architect put something together, but they just said, no, we want something different. So they're upstairs, their wall, roof line is like this.
Yeah.
And then they have these custom beams they brought over from Europe that can cross over different areas open in the second story. It is one of a kind. So now explain, go into a session where you're now going to be telling them that, one, you guys screwed up designing for you. You overspent
Yeah.
on product that you really didn't need to do. Took them 6 years to build it because they were doing it themselves. He's in construction.
Yeah.
They talked about how him and his son hand-bombed all the concrete around the back of the house to build these custom patio steps that lead to nowhere. Okay?
Like even the beams upstairs in the bedrooms are making bedrooms less functional because they're like halfway going in there, and where do you put the bed now? You know what I mean? So you kind of have the bed on the other side. So and these beams look, I don't know, that makes bedroom not very functional, to be honest, right? Like,
Right.
You know,
Encloses it.
You're talking about the same
yeah, and you have to
3.5
be careful walking
3.5.
into the rooms about around these beams.
It started at 3.9,
Yeah,
They
So-
kept reducing the price.
correct.
right? So when you go into a situation like that, doesn't matter what kind of property it is, it's really, really important that I feel anyways, the reason we are able to come out with where we're positioned right now is because we did a 2-step. If we didn't know, as we were walking around, asking them questions and find out exactly what the property is, I can guarantee there are probably agents that have walked in that house and go, I don't know who the hell designed this thing, but why would you do those? Why would you not blow up the chain? Who the hell would build a single car garage on?
Yeah.
And if you don't know,
Totally offending.
how fast do you think they're going to get that out of my house?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you gotta build rapport, you gotta find out what the situation is. This presentation, okay, is in Realty Executives Prime Agent. Yeah,
So while Gautam was doing this, I went through and pulled it up. I didn't get any of the, like, there was no print stuff in there. Did I not download? It was
no,
all blank. Like, all the pictures were there, but there was no wording. So
Sorry, which, no, it should be, I think, it's, everything's all in there, these words, I think.
Yeah, like I got all the graphs and everything, but no,
You can look it up with
Yeah,
something.
but it's all-
It's
yeah.
all there.
yeah.
And we'll go through it, but
I
that's,
think, yeah.
It's all standard, everything that you have to customize few things, make any changes.
I didn't add any words, anything about myself I added, like the print media I added, my flyers and stuff like that. Market information I updated, but rest of it is all like, this is all standard.
the headings are all there, everything's there.
Like this slide, I didn't do any of that, this is just as it is, the
And all the changes, pictures and
Canva.
Canva is just like
That's
Yeah.
it.
integration with this.
Correct.
Just transfer from one to the other.
When you click on Prime Agent, click on the Canva, it takes you to Canva and you can, Canva is so easy, right? You use,
The only thing I did,
yeah,
Was-
shall help, big time.
so I did one thing. It comes up as portrait mode, so it looks like a booklet flyer. The only thing I did was, because I have a pro account that I use for the company, I'm easily able to switch it into this landscape presentation mode. Takes me all of 5 minutes. And so if you guys ever want this landscape mode, your presentation is done, just send me an email, share that presentation with me. I'm more than happy to create the landscape version for you.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Or the one you did for me, just copy paste and you can
Yes.
share it, no issues
Yeah.
at all, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're all here to help each other,
Yeah.
use that landscape, because on a laptop you can't present that, that's more if you're presenting on an iPad or something like that.
Yeah,
So
or
I,
if you're,
I
like,
told her, I
printing.
said, can I take your help? She's like, I can do it, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Michelle. You saved me big time.
And how you present this, with, on your.
On my laptop.
Yep, on his laptop, right at the table,
Yeah.
going through it, and exactly this questions that, we went through the questions again, clarified, has a timing situation changed since we were last here? Have you done any other improvements since we've been here? Yes. Oh, okay. What have you done? He said, well, you guys were, we were concerned about the single car garage, and last time you were here, we were gonna spend all the money to put a car lift in,
Yeah.
because they have the height to do it. And I said, well, I wouldn't spend the money, because if we know that it can be put in, all we need to know is what kind you're putting in, how long does it take you to put it in, and is it gonna be included? But somebody may come by and go, you know what, I don't care about the car lift. So, we come back the second time, takes us into the garage. He has redone the concrete floor in the garage. He now has spots exactly where the lift will go, all reinforced. The whole garage floor is now all epoxy, shiny, looks like he went into a racing car garage,
We did that.
right? And he said, so all the power is here, and he said, I ran the power for the electric cars, I ran the power for the lifts, here's the style of lift, and he said, I can get this all done and in for $5,000. Right? So now you have a buyer coming in who's questioning it, and you go, well, how would you like this? Seller already has gone through, reinforced all the concrete, height is there, power's there, all of this is done, and he'll include it.
And I think what we have to keep in mind is they did this 6 years ago when market was totally different, right? So there's some emotions there while they were thinking from that angle when they started building this that they could recover all their money, right? And I like Scott's two-step approach in a way is because I had another instance in Bolton where I was doing one step, right? So I had Facebook, somebody clicked on an ad, I ran home evaluation, no problem, I prepared evaluation and everything, and I go to the property. Oops, they had teared down the whole house and built a brand new, which is nowhere in my scenario. And I'm like, here goes my CMA and everything's out of the window or whatever. Okay, so I'm just going in and then it automatically became a two-step because I couldn't present my CMA because my CMA would have been just thrown out anyways because it was nowhere a comparable house, right? So it happens like that too. And that's where we went in first time and looked at everything in the house and asked questions. And he's like, yeah, come back again.
Right?
So your listing is coming?
We're working on it still.
We're working
Yeah.
on it, yes. Yeah.
But, so two things. One, who controls the presentation when you're using this
The agent.
You do.
Agent.
versus the consumer, right? So if you don't have a presentation to follow, then you're gonna bounce all over depending on where the consumer thinks that they wanna take you versus you controlling it.
Sometimes people they're not interested to learn about the long conversation, linguistic presentation. That it takes a lot of time for them. Maybe they ignore it sometimes.
This was 20 minutes we were doing this?
Yeah.
Not even?
Not even. And you can skip through some slides faster, right? Depending on how interested they are. If they are not like the market stats, right? I think that was the key information to be
That
spent fair.
website is XC website.
ETSY, XC.
That's for the brochures. and
That's for the
stuff.
brochures,
Yeah, this,
yeah.
this presentation is
Is on Prime Agent.
Agent. This is all Prime Agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all Prime Agent. So, that's where, looking at it, again, keep in mind, it doesn't matter the price range, it doesn't matter anything, condo, freehold, whatever it is that you're going in, it's a consumer you're presenting to, right? This particular program, this presentation really keeps you in control, and you practice it, so when you go in, you know exactly what your speech is going to be. You've already practiced it. So now we go through, how much trust are we building with the consumer before we've even talked about price?
Yeah, we haven't even talked about price at all yet.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
don't see
building
no
our
opinion of value on
No,
it.
right? So we haven't even talked about price. Yet, we're building rapport through the conversations. We're building rapport because we're showing the stats. We're talking about third-party stats, not our opinion. These are actual stats from the Toronto Real Estate Board. Right? So it's not us preaching to them about stuff. We're showing them what third-party stats are saying about the marketplace.
Would you not want to drill down on the local home bill stats
Well, that.
more importantly than Toronto's?
Well, this was pretty good because this was in Mississauga. This is in
Oh,
Mississauga.
that's right.
Yeah, Farm Park. So the trend is the stats that happen. I am doing one in Oakville, and I strictly use the Oakville one. I did check trend because you have to with both. But right now, that particular one really wanted to show the story. The story was inventory's up,
Yeah.
prices are down, right? Longer to sell. And consumer confidence. Those were basically what we wanted to get to them because we know in our mind they're way overpriced.
I think you would go to that city stats like
Yeah.
Oakville, for example, but you don't want to get too much narrowed down to like the type of house they have and all that, because then you will skew up, right, the numbers, I think. So we
Sometime-
wanted to give them the trend,
Yeah,
what's going on.
exactly. Sometimes you get too specific,
That's right.
then
That
your
will
numbers
harm
aren't
us.
telling the whole story.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to, and you'll see when he goes through the live presentation,
Yeah.
we did exactly this when we were there. Okay, so far you guys agree, professional presentation backed up by one, social media. And as we were going through the social media, I said, excuse me, didn't you guys contact Gautam from Facebook? Yeah. Oh, so it does work, right? Yeah.
You clicked on my ad and that's why we are here, right? So that
Right.
kind of proves, right? It's
So, and then showing all the stats that he had with the number of engagements, number of impressions, all of that, it shows that, yeah, he does this all the time. It wasn't a one-off.
and they said that, yeah, your ad worked.
Yeah. Right? So nothing has been talked about when it comes to their specific property or what's going on in the neighborhood yet. It's all about building rapport. We would not have been able to get to this particular presentation if we didn't do our first visit. Because when we were leaving the visit, we said, we are going to come back with pricing, where we feel your pricing is. We're also going to come back and educate you on where the marketplace is and what our services are. Are you okay with that? So we got their permission knowing that we were gonna come back. So when we came back and said, no, we'll just sit at the table, as we said, we're gonna go through a presentation first, followed by what's going on specifically with your property. You still okay with that? Nod your heads, yes, great, let's sit down. You gotta control it all, right?
And with the, like you said, Sarah, like some people don't like to waste too much time. That happens in the one step. Sometimes people get in two step. You won't have that issue because we've already built that we're gonna come back with a presentation. We're gonna talk about our company, ourselves. Then we're gonna talk about pricing, the house, and everything. But in a one step, sometimes it does happen. I felt that because I was doing through my Facebook ad, like first time presentation I'm running through. Some people are like, well, I'm not selling for another year. I just want to know what my price is. So then they are not interested in so much on the company, but I would still run through them. Maybe we speed up a little bit on some slides, but I still want to do my, because that's the only chance I'm getting to prove myself,
And
right?
just create a good impression of your company.
Definitely, and then the feedback I got from some people were, well, you're professional, your presentation is very good, I'm just not ready to start, which is fine, right? And they're being honest, and I'm gonna put them in my CRM system and follow through in a year time and see what happens, right? But basically, at least we are showing we are professional, we are just not coming off the fly here and say, well, your home value is this and that's it, and we leave, they will forget us tomorrow.
Right? So another point to keep in mind is know how you're going to do your presentation. Okay, so when we ran through this here in the office, I said to the doctor, I said, okay, how are we gonna do this? How are you gonna do this presentation? I said, because some people, if you're expecting to go live drive, there are people that will not give you their Wi-Fi. So how are you gonna live drive your presentation? What was your answer?
I said I will have my hotspot connected and I'm gonna use that.
Okay? So make sure that you know how to do that. Okay? Make sure you know how to connect to your own hotspot. Create your own hotspot. Connect to it. Do a trial run. Okay? Because don't rely on going into somebody's place and say, okay, I just need to log into your Wi-Fi because privacy through Wi-Fi, people are not interested normally in doing that. Okay? So make sure you know how you're going to do your presentation.
And that shows, right, we are professionals, right? Like, same way, I mean, I did a lot of presentations, right, in last 3-4 months, and same way, I have my own water bottle. I'm not asking them to give me a water. I have my slippers with me in my bag, like when I'm doing a walkthrough. I'm not wearing their slippers, or I'm not walking barefoot, right? So keep those things in mind. That shows every step that we are professional, right? We are not kind of, okay, let's use your slippers and walk through, you know what I mean? So just those things kind of help in the long way, I think.
Okay, so now that we've done, now we got to this end of the presentation, next thing was, okay, now we're gonna talk about your place.
Everybody knows, like, you know, this is how you get into the realm, like home screen. That's where you end up now, right? Pretty much, because I started that a little bit early. But you go into the realm CMA, you click on the 9 dots there, and realm CMA is just right there. And even, or you can type in like CMA, and you can see this realm CMA is where you're gonna go right now. Top CMA is another one available, which I think might be a paid version of.
It is a paid version.
Paid version, I think, yeah. So I've not clicked on that. So this is the CMA that we did, and I'm gonna open that up. But after we go through it, I'll open a live CMA. We'll just do random property, and we can do that. That'll give you a learning. How do you add comparables? I think we can do that too. It's a mutual learning we can do. But this is the one we did. For the property, so this is the subject property basically we added from the existing listing because it was already on the market, because you can build a CMA from an existing, you know, say on market property, off market, recently sold. You can pull it from land registry record. You can build a CMA from there as well, right? Any property you do, you can just pull it up. So we did it from existing listing which was there, which had expired once we went to this point. These are all the property details for them. Adding comparables, we had kind of, we walked through these steps, right? We went through like these properties like that, and we went through like one by one in front of them, saying, okay, this is the property in your neighborhood, this is what, this got terminated, I guess, right now, like, showing it. But we went through, we had added all these properties as comparables in the CMA, but we opened in front of them and said, okay, take a look, what house you think looks comparable to your house and what do you think that is?
It was already created on that brand, CMA, or you have created first?
I created on
You
the
have
CMA.
created first by tracking MLS number or?
Yeah, from the older MLS number I had,
And it is
which
actually-
I'll walk through eventually, right? We'll build a new one, we'll just select a random property,
Yeah,
and we'll just build the old one.
The expired listing
Yeah.
is what we use to populate the subject property. The CMA though, you actually went in, you could do it by map, you could do it by, did we do it by map or did we do it by Lorne Park?
We did Lorne
Lorne
Park
Park,
neighborhood, yes, we did the Lorne Park and plots and neighborhood.
And then it populated everything. And then we went through ourselves and decided on which properties are we gonna use.
So you just have chosen the properties and then.
Yeah, added them in here, but we opened in front of the client and showed them and said, if you open these properties, what does this look like?
So what we did, just before we got to that step, we together, the day before, went through everything, every listing in Lorne Park, Clarkson. We put a price range from 2.5
That's right. And up
to 4 million. I think there's actually a couple at 2.5 was sort of the range, 2.2, 2.3. But then it automatically
Yeah,
populated everything. And then we went through every listing together, deleted what we didn't want. So we knew going in what we were going to be populating. Now, when I do my evaluations, I go, well, actually you'll see, because this is the way I show Gautam how I do it. So we're gonna go through, and this is how I do it. The one thing you wanna look at is how many actual listings and properties I go through with them. It's more than 3, I'm gonna tell you.
yeah, he said he wants to pick a big number. But my idea was, okay, I'll go with 5, 6 properties. He's like, no. Yeah, he's like, no, I want to show more, right? And that's exactly what happened when we opened these things, went one by one in front of them. That gave them, like this property, for example, we said, look, this got sold for 2.8. You have price point 3.5 in your head. We're telling you, your house is comparable to this, is what we're trying to tell them, right? If they're actually not verbally, we wanted them to come out with a number and say, well, yeah, it makes sense. You know what I mean? So that was the idea. So we opened like these one by one properties. We kind of even showed them, okay, what does this look like? Showed them some inside pictures too, like that right here. And went through property by property just to kind of give them the analysis, opening souls, and then opening like what's available on the market. I think this was the one that then they kind of came and said, oh yeah, this property looks exactly like our home. We redid everything like this, you know. So this was the property, remember? They were hung up on. And we said, look, it's still for sale, hasn't sold yet. And how much is it listed for 2.9? And that's kind of gave them big eye opener and saying, oh yeah, if that didn't sell.
So you convince them by attracting more people to your listing, you give them idea to go for the lower balls, like a lower price, or?
We want, because we came up with a price below 3 million. Same thing Scott did. Scott said 2.8, right? 2.850,000. I think that was the price Scott came with. And I said same thing exactly, around 2.9. I said that's the market price for this property. They were hoping 3.5, so we wanted to bring them down, but we did it through CMA and said, look, this property, which you think is comparable to yours, is still available, hasn't sold yet. So that gives them that realization and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Our house is probably similar to this, so that's where we can get.
So we ended up going through 23 listings.
Right. Yeah.
And we went from solds to what's listed. And then what was the other thing we did that we knew already that we were gonna do? something I do all the time. And you probably don't remember.
Oh, yeah, he told me to pull specifically how many homes got sold in the last
Days on market.
60 days, how many homes got sold at what a price point in that neighborhood. And when we did that in front of them, it showed there were, I can't remember the exact number, maybe 10 properties sold, but all below 2.3 million. Nothing had sold above 2.3 million in the last 60 days in that neighborhood.
They can
Same,
buy
same
houses.
specification houses?
Yep.
Yeah,
Just all.
same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Any sale we picked from, like, any sale happened during last 60 days in those Clarkson and Lord Park. That's what we pulled the number and said, nothing has sold above 2.3 million in this neighborhood in last 60 days.
And they can calculate the numbers.
Correct. So they realized that, okay, our market has shifted, right? We thought, oh, we're going to get 3.5 million and get sold. In last 60 days, nothing's been sold. So market has shifted and changed.
So who is telling them the price?
You guys
Have we set a price yet?
No, they
No.
say.
They,
We have
We-
not set a price.
we indirectly showed them through the CMA. Say, this is how we come up with a value, right?
Yeah.
And we're giving you the same information. Like Scott said, we're going to give you the same information that we kind of work through, which built confidence in them, thinking, yes, I think then they realize, well, yeah, our price is below 3 million.
Yeah.
And you then choose their number end of the day, or you just give them your number?
No,
No.
so we, at the end of it,
We did,
we said, so you are now a buyer.
yeah.
As a consumer looking at your property and the other opportunities in the marketplace, where do you feel this property should be? And they go, well, that's what we got you in here for. And I said, okay, fair enough, I appreciate that, but as a consumer looking at this, would you pay above or below $3 million? I wouldn't pay above 3. Well, then I guess we're sort of in the same scenario because we don't feel it's above 3 either. But it's not us telling you, it's the system and the marketplace today. Would you agree with that? They said, yeah, but today, that number just doesn't work for us. And we're not in a hurry yet. Yet,
They're not in a hurry until they're in a hurry.
right?
They're-
And so,
yeah.
so as we went through it, where do you think by the end of doing it this way, which they said nobody had done with it, and I can guarantee you they had other people that nobody had done this.
They went through comparable.
Not the way we did.
Oh.
How many comparables do most agents bring?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 or 5, yeah.
Right? How does a consumer understand the marketplace if you're only going to show them 3 or 4 places that you handpicked? Right? So at the end of it, the consumer looked at both of us and said, this is the best professional presentation we have had. We thank you for being so honest with
Transparent.
us and not coming in trying to BS us just to get the listing. So, do we have the listing yet? No, but they said, you know what, let's readdress it in September because they're going away for a bit. Guarantee you in August, we're gonna be in touch with them. But who has the chance of getting the listing more than anybody else right now?
Second floor.
Because
Because
of,
we do.
right? And going through and educating them way more than anybody else did.
I think the best way is that like, putting the seller into the buyer's shoe and telling that you analyze your property as a buyer, how would you gauge your price based on the current situation? I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The seller themselves will say, if I'm a buyer looking at this property at this market, will not give more than 3 million.
And,
I'll
and,
go with the
and,
that's a
and
good-
what they had from the previous agents is basically they listed at 3.9 starting, price reduction. So they were like not getting that transparency. That's how he clicked on my ad when this property was listed actually with another agent. Because when they clicked on my ad and my assistant contacted and then I kind of contacted him and he's like, well, and I said, you clicked on my ad, like what are you looking for? Because your property is already on the market. So I really can't give you, too much information. I can't really be, because you're under a contract. And he says, I realize that. All I wanted was transparent opinion, like what my house value is. I wanted a second opinion. And I said, I cannot do that for you because you're on a contract. So he's like, no problem, my listing is going to expire in a month and a half. If I don't sell by then you call me at that time. And I said, okay. Then I put it in my CRM system, okay, reminder that to call him in a month and a half, which I did. And then he said, yes, now you come in and let's sit down and talk, right?
Anything else, Gautam, you can add to that?
No, I think it's pretty much like.
And how you negotiate the commission? How you negotiate the commission?
Commission, they
You get
basically-
5% or?
They basically asked, right, what will be the commission after we did all this value and everything, and we gave him like
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5 is what we said.
Four and a half.
Yeah. Scott had sold us listing really in that area recently.
And you include the staging in 4.5?
No.
No.
If they want staging, it goes up.
It goes up.
We do offer staging, but it goes up.
That's separate, yeah. This is how you get into 9 boxes again, like I said, around CMA. So you can do search for a subject property here, or you can do it from manually. We can create a manually for a subject property as well. If we don't have any detail, we want to start from scratch, you can build from that as well. But here, like I'm just searching, like my home was 16 Bay Ridge Drive in Brampton. So I'm just gonna pick that. You can pick from suspended, from expired, from any of those, but I'm just gonna pick up from this last sold we had and just pick this property and click create. And what that does is it populates all that information from that previous listing, right? That's what happens with subject property. We still can change those in that information and update that information. After selecting that property, it pulls up just find comparable properties. And one neat feature in Realm is about suggest properties. Because it runs the logic behind, it will suggest you properties. So you can use that. If you want to do your own search, you can click on search as well.
If there is no record of the property,
You will have to increase the distance here, right? So there is a distance defaulted to 500 meters. It takes like the center of the subject property as and then build a radius around like a circle 500 meter. You can stretch it to 1 kilometer, 2.5, 5, 10, whatever you want, right? So default is 500 meters, that's what it's doing. And my property is a freehold, so I will leave a freehold in there. You can put a price range if you want. If you know that area well, then you can put a price range if you want. If you not, like it defaults to the last 12 months. If you don't want, you can change that period as well. You can do last 6 months, for example. I don't want to see leased because I just want to see sold because we're not doing the lease CMA. We could build that as well. I will select what's on the market too in that area. New price change I will take on. Sold conditional I will include. Sold conditional with escape clause also I will include, right? So those are the properties I want to look at. And here is the tick box, right? Click, you need to select this tick, include land registry property. That's the only way to build. Select land registry records in the comparables, right? So you have to tick that, but that functionality works only with suggest properties if we click. If we click on search properties, it does not pick land registry records. So very important information to kind of keep in mind. So if I say suggest properties, it's just gonna run the algorithm. It pulls out the 7 comparable properties automatically in that area, right? So there, some of them are on the market. You can say this is new, this is kind of sold. I think it pulled all the sales basically because in that area probably there is nothing went through private sale, but it picks up land registry records if you select some. So what I do is kind of click add. Okay, so it added now those 7 comparables. You can still add more comparables to it as well and by manually creating a search. There's no issues with that. This is the information that it pulled from the previous listing when it sold. There is a list price which you can kind of go through and put it in because this will be printed as part of the CME, right, which you're suggesting. Typically we used to suggest a range, but there is no place here to put a range in, so you have to put in one number here. There is no way you can put a range in. So make sure you check all these records, because some of the information could have changed over time to the subject property. You update that. Like, see, even the taxes it's showing is from 2021. You want to put in the latest information if you know of. Otherwise, take it off. You don't want to show an older information. Same thing, the description is pulling from the listing description prior, but you should update it to new listing description that you want to write, because you don't want to show that older wording on there. And ChatGPT is good to use for that too, so it kind of brings that in play. I use that a lot. It can help us. Just copy paste, put in ChatGPT, reword it, or kind of come up with a new wording, and just then you can use that. Michelle's good at that too, using automation. Why not? So, and here you can put in anything you want. You can put in like the price range. You can put in any other information relevant you want to put in. You can put in all these remarks. It will show in the CMA in the end. And then you go to, like, there are tabs on the top. Then you go to the next one, add comparables. So these are the comparables. It kind of selected through the suggestion. Then you want to look at each of them, and then you click on each one of them, and you kind of review it for you, right? Like this 58 Coach Light, looks like it just came new on the market, 0 days on the market, and there's no photos even for that property on there. This is for $949, and you can review all the information below about the property to make sure it's the right comparable. If you think that is, you select the ticky box here. It's supposed to select, but it's not letting me. Oh, let me just do that. Select it. It's not letting me. Here I can, but I don't know, it's not letting me. But let's do the second one, for example, 60 Horizon. I think this is the right comparable. Like, again, look at your pictures and whatnot, square footage, whatever you're looking at, read the client remarks, whatever you want to look at on the property to see if it's the right comparable. This is also, this got sold, Blvd, recently. So, and sold date was 11th of June. So I think this is the right comparable. So again, you kind of select that, and like go through every property and see it. This got sold 1310. I think it's a little bit bigger property because my home was about 2,000 square feet. This is a little bit bigger than that home, but I will leave that in there. It's 1310 price.
Just try, I was gonna say, try clicking on where you did, try the first one. Just
Maybe I can click on here.
see if it will click on. We don't have
It
a box.
doesn't even have a box, right? If I go back to CMA, so it takes me to the home screen. I'm here.
It's just that top one looked like it's still actually being loaded.
Yeah, probably, maybe it's not, but even this is grayed out. It should be activated, like you should be able to select here.
But either way.
But if not, then you just go and select here, whatever one you want to look at,
Yeah.
and add in, right? So,
Is that square box for?
To select the ones that you want to
Oh,
add.
just
now,
select-
now you're just reviewing them.
Okay.
The system is just giving you options that it's looking at. Now you have to go in as the individual
Mhm.
and say yes, 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 I want these as part of the system, or no, I don't.
like for example, if I see this one and I see this is not the right comparable for
Right.
then you don't select it.
Right, okay.
So
Oh,
then
it's
then
like
it'll
the
fall
there.
off the CMA.
Right, so now it's not part of the CMA.
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Like even this property, 93 Bay Village,
Mhm.
if I look at, I think it's a little bigger home. It's not populated. Yeah, so this is even a bigger home. So this is not a right comparable to my home. So I'm just gonna take that off, even this is not. So these properties are, so just select the ones you want them to move on. Then you go to the next step is the adjustments. If you wanna adjust on and make any adjustments, you can do like typical it was how it was in Stratus, right? You can put in a plus, whatever number you wanna add in, or minus whatever number you wanna add in. You can add in your notes for whatever you're subtracting for, or
For instance,
increasing the value.
if a property had a spectacular backyard, pool, landscaping, and the property you have is just fenced plain grass, you should adjust for that,
Just.
right? So then you would take the value of that off of that comparable.
you have a finished basement in your subject property, the other one that didn't have a finished basement, yeah, then add in the basement money, right? Like, you know what I mean, the value to that.
This basically notes you're putting it, the current property have a backyard and then
Yeah, this
comparables.
is my subject property, right? And this is the comparator.
Okay.
Comparing the two,
Okay.
whatever adjustment I wanna make is do it here and then put a note in here, what you're doing adjustment for.
So the system would pick up the filter with the square feet, like exact square feet with all the properties the same square feet?
It does, because square footage is not shown in every listing, right? Like in our systems, we don't do that. If it's a mandatory field, it will do it. What it does is basically, whatever property got sold, they said it takes 15% plus for the price, 50% minus, and it kind of filters that in that area, and that's what it picks up. But square footage, it doesn't, because square footage is not listed in every listing. You can't go on for that. So you can just compare like 1 and then 2, 3, you can do for all the properties that you wanna do, and add your adjustment here. And then you go to customize content. This is all these pages are part of the CMA. There's a title page you can add, you can create table of contents. You can preview it how it's gonna look like, but all these are part of the CMA. You can add additional remarks here, which is not part of the CMA right now. See how it's ticked is gonna be part of the CMA right now, but you can add it if you want. You can upload a PDF as well as part of the CMA too. Like for example, you created a letter on a letterhead or something like that, you can upload a PDF right in and you can move it up as a first page of the CMA. You can do all that customization, it's all available in here. Customize appearance field here, I mean, you should update this. This you need to do it once, put in your company information, your phone number, website, adding a logo, like I added this logo, Realty Executives logo, I added my picture in there, so that will show as part of the CMA. You need to do it as once, then it gets set up. CMA name you can change if you want, like you can put in client's name, property address, whatever you want to do. And then last page is just basically you can share them with a link here, you can download a CMA, you can print it, like you can do, anything you want, or you can click preview. You will see this is exactly if you send them electronically, this is how they will get it electronically. And then it will download a PDF version, and then all these will be part of the pages. So
The one thing that we didn't show you guys, I just realized, is when just before we finished doing the presentation to the clients, how the system, the CMA, went in and suggested.
that's right. We didn't do that.
So we showed the client.
Client, yeah.
And it all came just below 3 million, so that would be interesting to show them, because that was a very part of the
Yeah.
CMA that we didn't show them. I just realized that.
Could you just go back to show how you got to that point for a second?
That's CMA, yes. Like all these are tabs on the top, right? It starts from here and then goes all.
Just that
this.
last step, how you got from there with all the comparables? Just next, that's it?
Yes, you can just like, for example, you're here, you just then go, like this one I completed, then I just went to the next step.
Yeah.
Then these are the comparables I want to add and I'll leave them in.
So how did you get to the last one where you previewed it?
Yeah, there's
The
this
final-
preview tab
the final
anyway,
step.
you can click on preview right here.
Preview on the right.
Oh, preview on the
Oh,
right.
preview on the right,
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
click any
Preview
time
right.
on that preview
Okay.
to see what is it gonna look like. Right? You can go through step by step, or you can click preview anytime and it will show you everything here.
Okay, so
Gotcha, thanks.
And then when you're walking through the client, this is how it's gonna open up if you share it electronically. Like see how they customized my picture and added it as the executives in, and then you just go through page by page. Like you can just open that and talk about there. See how it says price estimate? It's blank because I didn't put any price in there. But if you put in a price, it will show there. Right? It will show that price estimate. These were the remarks where I said you can add in pricing, which will include that part of it. Description, it will include that, whatever you add in. Only the bad part with this CMA is if this property got sold last time, it just picks it and shows sold last status. I mean, that you can't change or update because you're building it out of a sold MLS listing. and then you go to the next page is here, like then you just keep clicking like at the bottom here.
Okay, so that's where it is, okay.
Yeah, then you go to the, like see how you can walk through at the bottom home and you can go left and right here.
Okay,
So this gives you like, there are all 7 comparables. Low price, high price it will give you, median price, mean price, and average days on the market it gives you. Active, how many are active out of them, like available on the market right now, that's what their numbers look like. How many are sold, closed, so it will show those numbers as part of that. And then it gives you the comparable property list like that, which is like a nice map. It shows where that property is compared to the subject property. So you can see this blue one is the subject one, and all these are the properties around it, right? And you can basically, click on a status. I like to do that because then you can show all the new ones separate, and then sold separate, or you can do the other way, and then you can show, okay, this is the subject, there are the solds, and then that's the price change, and these are the 2 new on the market. And you click on next, then it shows comparables side by side basically along with the subject property. It's just gonna show one by one. And it captures any adjustments at the bottom if you do. So if you go through, it just shows all those properties and showing side by side along with the subject property. And compare property details, then it just goes into the details of each property, like this one was without pictures that you can tell. And then this is the other one that it shows. 60 Horizon Street, this is 8 Barrett, so it just gives you basically the picture, the map, and basically the public remarks that are available for that property. Then you go to the price comparison, and then it builds this graph, and just, because I put in 0 price, because I just didn't suggest any price. But if you suggest it somewhere here, and I say, well, looks like this property is going to be around $1.3 million, then it will show right there in the middle, saying your subject property is there, and then it shows you the green, all these properties in here, right? It's got sold and available on the market. You can do these things like play with this. I think this is a good information. Price versus per square feet, price versus days on the market. It shows as well, like how many days each property kind of went on, and if you hover over, it shows you which property it is. And this is the listed price average that it kind of shows you, tells you a graph. Then it talks about demographics of the neighborhood. Again, it does only community. You can add in a neighborhood. It shows now neighborhood and community. You can put in a city there too. Then it'll show you all the stats about the neighborhood as well. You can look at all those graphs that it does.
So if you print this, is it gonna show you step by step or?
Yeah, that's what we can do that next, right? And then
Okay.
pull it up as a PDF or download as a PDF and show how does it look like. You can even click on print here, and it'll give you option. You can download a PDF or you can print it or whatever you want to do. And one thing I kind of connected with Realty was that if we send electronically to a client, do they have to log in into Realm, putting their login information, or can they access? And they said no, they don't need to log in. They should be able to see as is version like we had. Exactly, they can click on that link, it'll open up like that electronically. So if I do it, let me just save as PDF. Just do it, download this one. So this is what the PDF looks like, kind of thing, comparative. This is our subject property. Even you can customize these things as well if you want to override all those things. That's the page 1 and subject property details. Then it gives you the details of the subject property. Then it goes to the comparables, like how we had that table showing the numbers, and it shows you the map along with that table that we kind of created, and shows side-by-side comparison in the PDF as well, all those properties, then it shows the individual ones, like each property with the picture and map and their remarks, every one of them. There's a page for every one of them, right? Kind of thing you go through. And then it shows all the graphs. And then the demographics, like we talked about. It added all that in there. Pretty much, right? It does all that. I think some things, maybe there's an issue with the layout, like it's not, see how it's kind of cut off a little bit maybe? That seems to me a little bit odd, but when I did that download last time, it did it pretty good. And
Gautam, there was the one that we presented that showed average list price, average sale price, average
Yeah.
days on the market, right? Is that one of the ones?
that's it. That was here, price, not price comparison, I think it was on. Yes, somebody, let's just. There, this
There.
table, right?
Yeah.
So this is it. So the
So-
page, this is the page builder.
Yeah. So when we showed that to the people that we were sitting with, that's where their eyes really opened up as well. Okay, now, again, it's not us telling them, it's sort of going like, here's what's going on.
There's no opinion of value here. You didn't put opinion of value.
No.
Okay, this is what market is telling you. Your mean price 1342, your mean 1256 with the actives, like closed, sold 14. So basically we're trying to give them the education so they can come out with an
And now at the end of our presentation, when we were still chatting, and they said, I said, as a buyer, we're lower or higher than 3 million. And that's what it's, well, what's your opinion? I said, well, is it higher or lower than 3? Well, we can see that it's under 3. I said, you're under 3. You're closer to 2.8 to 2.85. Yeah, that's sort of where we thought.
Just one question on the realm. Do you know, is there any other option where you can search by the name of the agent? How many listings that person has? Is there a filter like that?
on Realm itself.
Yeah. It's just a little bit out of the question of the topic.
I asked that question. So this is the basic Realm. You're looking for a listings when you're searching, you're going here, right?
Yes.
Pretty much.
So I think it should be under filters tab somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm just under all these filters here, right? So you can, there's a long
Yeah,
list.
add a
This
filter.
listing brokerage is there.
But listing by the
Is
name
there an
of
agent?
an agent.
Hold on, let's just see. I'm not sure if it gives us that option or not. Listing brokerage.
List by agent.
Just trying to search.
I don't believe it.
I don't think
I
it
don't
is.
think
It's
so.
it's on listing brokerage.
Listing
listing
brokerage.
Brokerage is there, yeah.
Not by the name.
So then in listing brokerage, you can have all the listings.
No, I think there is no fee, but there's listing brokerage here, right?
Right.
Contains.
Okay, thank you.
You'll probably have to pull up all the brokerage listings and then see which one or whatever. And one interesting thing here is on the search, whatever you did last, it remembers. So I always hit clear and then do it. And these three things are independent. So if I'm going searching something, I just go straight to community if I know the community, and it just pulls that data right there. You don't have to put in a city or municipality or anything like that. These things are independent of each other. Like previously we used to have put in like, Mississauga, Lorne Park. Now if you put in Lorne Park here, it will just pull out the Lorne Park listings available in that area.
Joe, are you asking in the presentation where you would put your opinion of value?
Yeah,
Well,
I just
it-
thought that would be
yeah.
part of the standard template.
Well,
on the realm.
well, you could put it into, they do have where they had an
Right
area
here.
where you could put your actual suggested list price.
This is the field. If you put in here a number, it will show up. I didn't put it, so it just
So you
shows
can't do a
blank.
Does it have a covering letter, or would you have to create the covering
You
letter?
have to create and upload as a PDF.
Okay.
It just doesn't have, like the electronic way, it just goes as like this. If you show it, it just starts like that. And basically, and if you want to print, then it shows that PDF version, but there is no cover page for it. Oh, no. It just starts with subject property, that's where it does.
So you gotta do your bio separately, and all that
If
stuff.
you want to do that, like make a one letter and every time maybe type it in Word and create a PDF and upload it, you could do that. Yes.
And have you finished all the 60 videos of running? Like, this is 60.
No, I've not done all this.
We haven't done that.
No, I'm not. I mean, you can do videos so much, but more is you get in and play with it. That's the way to learn.
Yeah.
And you get stuck on something, call them. They're very helpful. I called them yesterday. They give you an answer right on the phone, the support line. So the dedicated support line or Realty, you know. So they help you very quickly and you just walk through. I think that's the way to learn more. I think just sitting on a video after like half an hour, you're just kind of not listening and then it becomes a problem.